Hey guys, Ollie here. It's that time of the DBD cycle where the new PTB comes around, and this time it is Nicolas Cage. So we're getting 3 new perks, Sadako changes, overall perk changes as well. There's a lot going on in this mid-chapter, and I thought I'd break it down for you all in a video, giving my opinions, any extra feedback, because I've played a little bit, any just early thoughts of the changes. So, let's just dig into it. So the first thing is, of course, Nicolas Cage is being added into DVD. It's pretty insane. You wouldn't have expected this 3 months ago, 6 months ago. I was in a really bad spot with the game, 3 months ago, 6 months ago with lackluster updates, but it really does feel like behavior have turned it up, finally. We're getting good content, which is actually exciting. So, with Nicolas Cage comes 3 new perks. I kept talking about it on stream. I wanted at least one of them to be exciting. And it looks like all 3 of them are fun, just perks you just mess around with, where one could actually be really good. So, Dramaturgy. While you're healthy or running, press the active ability 2 button to run with knees high, and then gain a 25% haste effect for 2 seconds, and then an RNG effect on what the effect will be afterwards. You could get exposed, you could gain haste, you could scream, and you could gain a random rare item with add-ons. It's an exhaustion perk. Honestly, it's just a high risk, high reward, but you won't use it in that sense. You'll use it in a sense of you're doing a gen and then you'll just use it just to see if you can get a positive effect like an item, really, to be honest. I don't think it's, going to be meta-defining. It's just going to be a fun perk you're going to mess around with, and that's what I want. This is what this mid-chapter is. This is what Nicolas Cage is, and I'm happy. Scene partner. While you're in the killer terror radius, when you look at the killer, you scream. That's literally what you do, and then you get to see their aura. Probably the most underwhelming of the 3 perks, but again, it's just dumb to mess around with. You can probably get some nice value in Chase with that and Calm Spirit, which I know I'm gonna mess around with all 3 perks when the chapter launches. Be interesting to see how it plays out. And Plot Twist. Plot Twist is the one perk which I actually think is actually very good. So when you're injured and you can crouch, you can literally just die. You can flop on the floor. But when you can fully recover, and when you're fully recovered, you heal up to full. It's actually wild. You can only do it once per game unless the doors get opened, right? And then you get another go at it. Honestly, I like it. Again, it's another perk you can just mess around with. But I think the combinations are endless. There's going to be so many videos on it. There's going to be so many dumb things you can do with it. And that's what you want in a DBD perk. It's fun. Like, full credit to behavior. You've made 3 perks that they're not going to be meta-defining. They're just going to be fun to mess around with. And that's what you want. I am really excited about all 3 of these perks. And, props. It feels like they're actually, making, forward steps with the game. They just now have to fix the base game on itself. There are, prevalent issues right now. Servers being one of them, and they have not even said a single word about it, which is problematic. And I was, again, spoken about it on stream. It's all well and good, to describe what's happening in simpler terms. It's like getting a brand new sofa, a brand new TV, a brand new coffee table, a brand new wardrobe, but your house is still a tip. And that's what DBD's like right now. You're getting so many fantastic updates which are improving the game, but the actual game currently is not in the best state, especially with servers. And that's what's making me sad. Anyway, moving on. So they updated the Sadako. They reworked the Sadako entirely. So again, this is something I've spoken about before. Sadako did need buffs. Sadako needed buffs, but you also didn't want to buff her in the sense of you buffing the worst way to play her, which is the slugging Sadako playstyle. And that's kind of what Behavior have tried to do. So they've changed a bunch of the add-ons, whilst also changing how her projection and demanifestation works. The highlights being when she's demanifested now she can't be stunned, so her chase is a bit better. However, her projecting to a TV, I think that whole projection to a TV, it's kind of been a bit underwhelming. That's what I will say. I think the numbers could be tweaked a bit more. I think when people do learn how to play against it, I still don't think Sadako is going to be that good. She needs her numbers being changed in a buffed manner. Basically, the condemn is not really a single type effect. It's a map wide type effect, but you can do it less frequently. They've also changed the add-ons too. Most notably, the Eerie that turns back on TVs after you get hits. That's been completely changed. Ring drawing, which promoted the slugging Sadako playstyle, that's also been changed. Just a bunch of add-ons being changed, which is definitely interesting. I like that they're going for this though. If they can up the numbers to make it Sadako actually decent, again, another positive change. Notice how I'm not really complaining about the changes. They're all good. Hook grabs. Hook grabs are now no longer a thing. It's always been something which has been janky ever since dedicated servers came into the game. And they've just removed it entirely. Honestly, I'm all for it because it kind of makes camping a little bit less stronger. However, I will say when 5 gens get done, you are kind of a bit fucked. I'm just gonna say it. You are a bit fucked. When 5 gens get done, now there's no real way if 2 people are still alive and healthy that you're gonna really get a trade, which kind of sucks. But that's that's the only thing I can complain about. Otherwise, again, a positive change. Toolbox add-on updates. Brand new parts have been nerfed. Instead of it being 25% of a gen, they do the generators reduced by 10 charges, so back to what pre-nerf generators were. Don't really know how to feel about it. Again, I'm glad they're addressing it. This is, again, another problematic thing. BMP toolboxes were, the scariest thing for me to go against at the moment. Medkits have been pretty much all but nerfed. Toolboxes, though, are still on the rise, and when I'm loading into a lobby now, if I see 4 medkits, I'm like, all right. But if I see 4 toolboxes, I am fucking terrified. So this is good enough. They still, in my opinion, need to address commodious toolboxes. That is still the big point of contention, because it still hasn't done anything regarding the hyper focused toolbox situation. But maybe we'll see that in the future. Again, positives. Killer perk updates. Now then, this was a surprise to me. I'm very happy to say I'm happy with almost all of them. Coup de grace now gains double the stacks. Whenever a generator gets done, good. Claustrophobia now has its effect is now map wide. Again, a lot stronger. I still don't think it will be used. Coup de grace, however, I will say I want to try that on Singularity because I think it will actually be exciting now. Hangman's Trick was the only one where the buff just kind of didn't really feel like a buff. It just kind of got a nerf. You can see auras of survivors 10 meters from a Scourge Hook when you're carrying a survivor. Is that not just Awakened Awareness from Wesker, but worse? You see the issue there? In my opinion, you need to change this. You either need to buff the range, or I think you just buff the range, to be honest with you. So I think that would be a perk that Behavior do look at. Territorial Imperative. This is the perk I don't actually like for change, because it promotes camping basement, and basement camping already is such an unfun mechanic. They have buffed the effect just to basically, make the perk a bit stronger. Again, I don't think it will be used. I just don't like the incentive of the perk. Remember Me's been buffed, which is nice. It just, helps that endgame. Crowd Control's got a huge buff. The blocking window has now gone up from 14 seconds to 60. It means the perk will be a problem now, and you do have to cleanse it, which is good. And Trail of Torment, you don't lose stealth now until the generator gets touched. I think that's brilliant. I am a big fan of Trail of Torment. I like the perk, and I'm glad it's got that buff. Also knows, it's also a perk, so someone's doing a generator, so as soon as someone touches it, you can go back to that gen. We'll worry about the free gen scenario, but other than that, it's again another positive. Now for survivor perks, this is the one controversial one. Prove Thyself. They've removed the blood point bonus, which is for cooperating with Prove Thyself. Like they did it with We're Live Forever. They've done it with barbecue and chili. That's I can see the reason behind it, because they don't want blood point incentive to be the main driving force behind picking a perk. But I don't know. I don't like that. However, nerfing it to 10% repair speed bonus is, you know, prove thyself. You know, I don't mind that. I think it's a good change. Wiggle Live Forever. Wait, adjusted the description. I didn't read this. Does that mean you get a stack now just for getting a blind? Oh, no, never mind. It's for all types of blinds saves. So with flashlights, flashbangs, never mind. Don't worry. I didn't read this part, so they just adjusted the description. Blast Mine now goes up to 2 minutes, for which is going to be nice. You're just going to get more Blast Mine value, especially with Pop on the rise. It's nice that Blast Mine's got a little buff. It's still going to basically just be a 7-second kick for a killer, but you're just going to see more value out of it, which again is nice. Wiretap's gotten the exact same treatment, so you're just going to run Blast Mine and Wiretap together. That's what they're implying you to do, which is fine. I think Wiretap's a decent perk. I think Blast Mine's a fun perk. You know, you can pair them together and get a decent effect. Saboteur's been buffed. They've decreased the time it takes to sabo a hook without toolbox by 0.2 of a second, and they've lowered the cooldown. Is that really going to make a difference? No, you're still going to use a toolbox to sabo if you want to do a sabo build. But it's a nice little buff. Clairvoyance now works with Blessing. That was just a quality of life update. Breakout's been buffed. The rate of wiggling has been increased when you're within a 5-meter radius, not a 6-meter radius. They've made it, you know, higher risk, higher reward, which I like. I like Breakout, so it's honestly a decent perk. I'm gonna test it out, of course. Buckle Up. This is the interesting one. When completing healing aside from the dying state to injured, both you and the healed survivor gain endurance for 10 seconds. Now, this is the scary one, because if you think about For the Peepo here, you can both get endurance while doing For the Peepo. You've also got Made for this, you know, Wiggle Live Forever, Wiggle Live Forever, We're Gonna Live Forever, Buckle Up is going to be very, very good. For the Peepo, Buckle Up is going to be very good. For the Peepo, Buckle Up and Wiggle Live Forever could be a really nasty combo. And the Slugging Killers are gonna definitely feel the pain from that. I've already seen Pixel Bush on Twitter lose his mind, and I can kind of emphasize, if you're a Twins player, if you're an Oni player, that perk is gonna be terrifying to you. Smash It. The Smash It exhaustion has been halved. Now that's an interesting one. Smash It was probably one of the weakest exhaustions, if not the weakest exhaustion. So they've just said, all right, screw it. We'll lower the exhaustion timer to 20 seconds. Honestly, I'm happy. It might see more usage, but in the current meta of Made for this, I don't think it will. Maybe with Vigil you can get some nice value out of it, but no, I don't see it, sadly. It's still going to be a useful perk though, and that's the most important thing. And Spine Chill, they've basically removed the Terror Radius indicator because, of course, it's now in the base game. They also did some killer tweaks. So with Pyramid Head, they basically saw that people could still camp 5 meters away from cages without the cage disappearing. They've upped it to 10 meters. Again, good. Doesn't fix the issue of people not getting endurance coming out of cages, so the killer can just insta-down them and then hook them, because there's no hook, hook perks, and for both killer and survivor don't work on cages. That is still a problem that does need to be addressed. Spirit had a bunch of add-ons being changed. So, Mother-Daughtering Spirit, no more. Duration giving recharge effects, no more. That is the big changes, which I think is brilliant. It's removed Spirit's extremes, and I think it's going to put Spirit a bit more in line. She's still going to be, in my opinion, the third best killer in the game. It's just, the extremes of Spirit are going to be basically gone, which is fantastic. And Hag, they've basically done a few small changes to Hag, but what they've done is they've basically given the Made for this effect to Hag. Waterlogged Shoe is going to make you run 7.5% faster. So you're going to go quicker than Trapper with Hag, with that add-on. I know I'm going to run it. Jag is returning. I'm very excited. They've redesigned Cowshed and Ranted Abattoir. Honestly, we'll have to wait until live service to see how it really plays out. Honestly, I'm happy. Fractured Cowshed was obviously arguably the worst map in the game for killer. That getting a change is good, and Rancid Abattoir, I do like the changes from what I've seen. But we shall see, honestly. Bunch of bug fixes, And I think the main thing I have not mentioned is I think bots will now replace DC players, which again is fantastic. If you haven't done custom games, bots are actually a lot better than you think. So it's going to be nice. You won't get screwed over from a teammate just hitting the DC button because they get down first and they have deliverance. Honestly, this is fantastic. The PTB is good. There are a lot of positives. Again, a lot of positives, and that's so nice to say. The new content is mainly positives. There's only a few things I'm confused about, but again, this is what PTB is, and they've shown now with Singularity, and they've shown now with the mid-chapter before that they are not afraid to make changes and adjust things, and that is brilliant. They've been making steps forward, so I am excited. Also, regarding content, over the weekend, I'm going to be away at TwitchCon, so if you are at TwitchCon, feel free to come say hi to me in Paris. So there'll be no streams over the weekend. I'll be back on Tuesday. There might be content over the weekend that will be released. There might be another video. There might be a compilation. You know, you'll just have to wait and see. So that's why content might be a bit more dry. But yeah, this PTB's been good. It's been good fun. I'm really happy to say that behavior are going from strength to strength right now, which is brilliant considering at the start of the year we had the Knight and Skull Merchant, which was, oh boy, that was an experience. All right, take it easy, fellas.